Hi, welcome back to the Inner. Today I have with me someone I met in person. He goes by the name Mac or MackLove.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
What's going
good to
on,
see
brother?
you.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful.
So, if you could introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so are they going to see the name that's on the screen right here?
Yeah,
All right, so the reason I go by Mac Love on all platforms, you can find me on TikTok and YouTube at real Mac Love underscore. And the name that you guys see here, the Great I Am, that is the name of my trust that I operate out of. So I either go by the Great I Am. That's one of my spiritual names that I feel like I got downloaded from whenever I meditate. And Mac Love is it comes from my last name. My last name is Mac, but I changed it to Mac Love to be my entertainment name because all I want to do is spread love around to people who who's been in a situation like I have been with depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. So Mac Love is my entertainment name, and the Great I Am, the showcase name that you guys see here, is my trust that I operate out of.
that's cool. So, share your story. How did you get to where you are now?
Okay, so coming out of high school, man, I graduated in 2018, and I was going through a phase in my life to where I felt, I was really drained, and I was going through a bad depression state, a bad anxiety state, and I even suffered with suicidal thoughts. So along that journey, I got into spirituality, which helped me now where I'm at today because I found out, once I stopped eating certain foods and once I started meditating more and once I started to comprehend more of life and the way things operate in life and what's going on in life, I became more woke to what's going on. So when after graduating high school, I went through that phase, and it made me realize that's not where I wanted to be at. And I was around friends who I would go out with, I would party, and I would try to take go on vacations, which I now figuring out me now, in a peaceful state of mind where I'm in, that wasn't for me. So where I'm at now, I'm more to myself. I meditate a lot, I study a lot, I'm into law, and I've been studying law since April of 2022. So April 19th of this month actually gonna make a year that I've been studying law. And
That's great.
there's different types of laws like common law, trust law, which is the Great I Am is my trust, and commercial law. So I've been all around. I'm just all around everywhere.
That's great. So, um, you when you talk about spirituality, what are some of the different well, how would you define spirituality as apart from religion?
It's more about finding about spirituality is more about finding out who you are instead of going to a book, which I personally don't really get into. But there's some quotes from the Bible that that kind of resonates with me because the Bible has been written so many times, and right now I think it's on the King James version of the Bible.
Hey, so many more than came after King James, I don't know.
Exactly, bro. That's why I don't really pay attention to it. So spirituality felt more comfortable for me because I feel like religion separates families and divides communities. So coming to spirituality, you can find out who you are, what you want to get into in life, and if you if you're a foodie, if you eat like fruits, vegetables, it's definitely gonna help towards on your spiritual journey as well.
Awesome. Uh, so what are some of the different cultures that you draw inspiration from in your personal spiritual walk?
Okay, when define culture, what do you mean?
Uh, guess you could say different groups. I guess groups might be more
Like
appropriate.
ethnicity, nationality. Are you talking?
Nationalities, it could be different religions, different spiritual practices. Because, um, yeah,
Okay,
just what are
so
some of the different areas that you've drawn inspiration from?
um, my biggest inspiration, I guess you would say, will come from man, it's deep. I guess so. Like when we first met, I told you my grandmother used to tell me before she passed away. Rest her soul. She used to tell me that we were Indian.
Hmm.
So I never thought about it because I was younger at the time, and my grandma was a wild woman, man. She, a funny story. Every time I go to her house, she got a cup of beer sitting next to her, and she'll offer me some beer, and I'll take it. But That's a whole different story. Yeah, that was a wild woman, but she was very, very intelligent, and she was into poetry. And so she told me that we were Indians, and I never looked into it because I was younger, and school, being in school at the time, we not learning anything about our culture and where we come from. So when she told me that, it just sat in me until I got into my spiritual journey, where I wanted to dive deeper into that side of where we came from as humans, instead of the spiritual realm, because the spiritual realm is going within yourself. But finding out where we came from as humans, that's something that starting to resonate with me as well now, because in the field of law, there's natural law. Law deals with everything. We have universal law, all of that. So it just sat with me that when she told me that we were Indians, now that I look back at it while I'm on my spiritual journey, I want to figure out who I came from as a human, as the human race, instead of spirituality, because there were aboriginals here before us. There were people here before us that we haven't learned about, that
Yeah.
we that the culture has been lost and has been hidden from us. So as I'm into my spiritual journey and studying law, it's helping me figure out more of where we come from and where I come from.
Yeah. Like a bit of what we were talking about is that a lot of people believe that black people got to America on slave ships only.
A lot of people think about that. Yep.
In fact, we're actually the original people of every continent. So it's not
Exactly.
even appropriate to call us only African American when we were everywhere first.
Yep. And like I said, when I met you, man, we can't even be African American, because if you're born in America, you are American, if you want to
Yeah.
get on that side of things. Because if our ancestors did come from Africa, I mean, we don't really know, because everything it's just been told to us. It's just been a story from his story. And that's why they had a lot of history, because it's his story. So the people who told us and taught us that in school, we don't really know for ourselves, if that's really true or not. And there's the guy I was telling you about, Rashad Jamal. He actually I didn't study. I heard from him that they don't even have the boats, of where our people came from Africa. Like they said, if you go to what side of America was that happen?
I believe that was the East.
Yeah, if you go to the East and you look for these ships where they landed at and dropped our people off, quote unquote, why aren't the ships still there? Or why can't we see these ships?
That's interesting.
That's something that resonated with me. So I'm like, so there's no ships, from that came from Africa, so we can't see them. And there hasn't been, people go take pictures. You know how when people go and travel and see different things, nobody goes and take pictures of these ships. So where are they? That's why a lot of our culture has been hidden from us. Everything's just his story.
Yeah. And it's a funny thing. Like you run into a lot of loose ends. You run into a lot of puzzle pieces, as I call them, that connect, but you won't necessarily find them in the same place. You might find one person who's telling as much history or our story, as I've heard some people call it.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
They'll only tell as much as they know. Because just speaking on a general level, we all know a little bit. Some people don't know a lot, much at all. But when you take the little bit that someone may know about history and connect it with something else, what someone else knows, you'll find a lot of times that they'll fill in the blanks where the other person had them. And you start to get this bigger picture.
See, that's why I like, how we met each other. That's why I'm grateful that we crossed paths and that we were able to have this interview and talk to each other, because this networking is very important, especially if you are on the same path with somebody and have the same comprehension as somebody. So that's why, like, man, I was grateful I met you. I was like, I'm ready for the interview. I know I was gonna be a little nervous, but it's starting to, like, I'm starting to feel comfortable now talking to you about this, because this is something I like to talk about. So when you find people who you could talk about these certain things with, man, it resonates with your soul, and you can actually, feel the energy from each other, and feel how, feel comfortable speaking about this. Because my family had, my family is not really into this, but they're trying to get into it. Like my mom, she's trying to get into it. She's starting a herbal business, which is very, very great, man. And my stepfather, he's more, I guess you want to say more religious, but he kind of comprehends the stuff as well, because we still talk about it. And him being my mom getting more into it, so he's trying to build that bond with us, his stepkids. So that's why I like to meet people on the same path and on the same journey, so this stuff could be spread it and spoken out more.
Yeah. So you've mentioned food and you've mentioned the herbs. On a general level, because I'm assuming you've studied a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some things that people eat regularly that's poison?
You already know the big one I'm about to say.
Go for it.
Chicken. Chicken is the number one, I feel like, because all right, so and with chicken is a hybrid animal. It was bred from a turkey, and I can't remember the other bird it was bred from. So chicken is definitely the number one. Pork, pig. I like to call it by the name, because if you say pork, people just like, but it comes from pig. Pig is very bad, and it just depends on if you raise your own livestock. But cows, I also heard that cows were a hybrid animal, but I didn't really study cows. But since I stopped eating all that, I stopped eating meat last year in June, and that really helped me on my spiritual journey as well, because I was eating a lot of pork and I was eating a lot of beef. I'm just gonna say it because that's what a lot of people know it as. It's pig and cow. That's what I like to call it, and I like to call it pig booty, because, bro, there's people really eating from a pig's butt. I don't know if you want me to curse on here. I was gonna say, but yeah, a lot of people eat a lot of a pig and just don't know where these parts come from. And once I did my research on pork, bro, it's really a lot of the pork comes from the behind of a pig, and
like ham specifically.
Yes, exactly. And that's what really, like, a lot of people eat is pig, cows, and chicken. So that's the main foods that I feel like that our people needs to get off of, because that's what really hinders you from elevating spiritually, and it hurts your body. Even though a lot of people say, because my little sister, I'll be trying to tell her about this as well. Like she don't care about what she eat, man. Like I really be trying to influence my family, but you can't really get everybody on his knowledge, because it's not meant for everybody. So, but I still try to say it every now and again. But like my little sister, she says she don't care what she eat, because she gonna die anyway. And me personally, I don't like how that sounds, because why is you saying that? Why is you bringing death into your energy? Because me, I'm the type of person, man. This probably gonna be real deep. I don't think that we're supposed to die. We really are. if you really take care of your body, because this is something that I learned from the Bible as well. People before us live thousands of years in age, and why don't we do that now? Is because of what you eat, what you consume, and put in your body.
I see. It was a reason I met you. The people that already know me, when they see this, already know where I'm going with this. I've been teaching immortality for at least 5 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, that's one guy. I'm glad we met you cross paths.
Because God didn't make us to die.
Exactly.
We weren't created to be destroyed.
Dude, the earth been here for millions of years. And you think that the people before us, they were just dying off as quick as we are now? I don't believe that.
Yeah. Like even in Isaiah, I believe it's Isaiah 65:20, it talks about ages. It says that a person that lives that dies before they reach 100 or at 100 is considered unlucky, because they died as a baby.
Whoa.
Which means that we've normalized a standard of living that's far under. A lot of people will pick out the verse where they counted up to about 70 years and they say this is about all I'm accounted for under God. But they'll skip right over Isaiah that says that we don't even qualify as babies and people are dying.
Cool. So
if 100 is a baby, how long are we actually supposed to live? I teach as long as you want to.
Oh, golly. Yeah, that's deep, man. That's something that I really want to that really needs to be heard and shared. Cause
Yeah. Because
yeah,
once people get out of what I believe we both call death consciousness, they then start to appreciate life. They then
yeah.
start to appreciate creation all around them. We then start to take care of stuff because we realize we're going to be here with it for a lot longer. That
Yes.
death isn't lurking around the corner waiting to take us as soon as we blink our eyes, but that is something that we were created with power over.
Yep. And see, and I'll be telling people, man, Mother Earth provides for us. There's plants outside that grow dandelions. I actually pick some dandelions and eat them. Like I pick them and eat them. Fruits grow from trees. It's just that they cut down all of our fruit trees in America because I know outside of America they have fruit trees growing everywhere from what I see on videos. And it's just that, man, like it's the way of living, you know, naturally and common, because it's like a lot of common sense is uncommon now. So the people that eats and consume all these foods, but don't realize that everything that provides our health and provides us the way of living, provides us to live longer, comes from Mother Earth, who provides.
Yeah. So in contrast to my earlier question, what are some foods that you believe are, I guess, superfoods that you believe more people should start eating that people need more of?
Oh man, definitely melons. Watermelon, seeded. Everything has to be seeded. Watermelon, because it's in the name, is watermelon. We can only consume fruits that contains a lot of water. Like H3O, not H2O. That's really what we're supposed to be consuming is H3O. And that's exactly from fruit. So melons, that contains a lot of water. Berries, and grapes with seeds. And I actually was studying grapes. The seeded grapes, the seeds inside of the grapes cures cancer. That's why we don't have a lot of seeded grapes in our stores now, because the government knows that it cures cancer.
Not just that, it's a lot of simple remedies that I've found out that are commonly abounding. Like for one, fasting kills almost anything, but
I'm doing it right
American
now.
society is all about how much food can a person eat and live. Like it's opposite to American culture to fast.
Yep.
So if you have people in a culture where they're craving food, they're craving their next meal, they're living based on when they get to eat next. You can actually plan and manipulate because they're not going to fast.
Exactly.
When you fast, you kind of give your body a break, and it then gets to get rid of some of the toxins that you got in it. But if it's always processing the food, it never gets to process the toxins. So sadly, most people are walking around with toxins in their body that they got decades ago.
Exactly, because it sits in your body for so long, because especially with meat takes so long to decompose in the body that I forgot the level of acidity that we have in our stomach that can decompose so much, not decompose, that can break down certain foods. So when people just eat meat every day, all day, is you just, first of all, you're taking life away from your body. You're shortening your lifespan. So you having all this meat just sitting in your body for decades, like you said, from years ago. It's still sitting in your body, and then it creates parasites. So if you eat meat, because if you eating meat, you don't know what these people feed these cows, what these people feed these pigs, which I seen what they feed pigs, man. It's horrible. It's
whatever they feed them, whatever.
Bro, it's disgusting. They eat their own poop. It's disgusting, bro. That's why I'm glad I got off of eating pigs, man. I pray a lot of people get off of that stuff, because it's disgusting what these pigs eat, and you're consuming what they eat. And on the spiritual side, you're eating a dead animal, so you're eating the dead energy from an animal. So when they're slaughtering these animals, how much percent I got? So when they're slaughtering these animals, you're consuming their energy from them crying, from them going through that pain.
Yeah, because a lot of them are like, I remember I was having a conversation with someone about like the Hebraic diet, the Jewish diet, and it was talking about, well, what's the difference between regular lamb meat at the store and what's considered kosher in their culture? It's all about how the lamb was raised and how it was eventually
Exactly.
slaughtered. And it's that most of the food that we have today comes from animals that are absolutely terrified and mistreated
Yep.
all the way up until they're slaughtered. And
Exactly.
fear releases enzyme, it releases toxins throughout the body. So it pre-poisons. They don't really have to inject anything into it as long as they keep it terrified. Usually when people think of contaminated foods, they think of someone injecting some chemical into the animals, feeding them poison. Just the simple fact that they're terrifying them before they're killing them is enough to contaminate the meat. Because when you're dealing with the kosher diet,
Yep.
the lambs are raised in pretty much paradise. They're treated
Exactly.
well, they're happy,
Yep.
they're in peace, they're in joy, they're taken care of. They living in luxury up until
Yep.
the final part. And even up in that part, like the final part at death, they don't scare them, they don't try to get them to squeal or anything like that. It's real gentle. They try to get it over with. So therefore, not even fear is released into the meat.
Exactly. See, and that's why I say having your own cattle, raising your own cattle is very important if you want to still eat meat, because I still think, no matter what, eating meat is still harmful to our bodies. But I know that certain people come from families, that are carnivores, and mostly I know we mostly supposed to be frugivores and
Yeah.
breatharians, because we could actually feed from the source, which is the sun. What they try to cover up every now and again, which I don't really like, because I like to be outside, man. I love to be outside, and every time it's cloudy outside, I feel my energy like just be bad, because well, it's not bad. It's just like it's my energy is just off whenever it's cloudy outside, because like right now it's sunny, there's no clouds. This is the type of weather I like to be out. That's why I want to do this outside, because that's the type of environment I like to be around, is in
Yeah.
nature.
Well, after the tantrum our weather through yesterday, it should be bright and sunny
Bro,
outside.
that was wild how it started hailing, it started raining, and then it was way before that. Early, it was sunny. It's Texas weather is just weird.
Yeah,
It's,
we don't get snow, but we get hail.
yeah,
That's fun.
I was like, why does it sound like things are just hitting the roof, and I go outside, oh, big chunks of hail just coming down.
Yeah. So talk about meditation. Yeah, how did you get into meditation? How do you meditate?
Okay, so a lot of people, when I talk about meditation, they think that I'm sitting up, which is a posture that I do. I'm sitting up. Most of the time, I like to lay down on my back, and I do a mudra. I either do this mudra, or I'll do this mudra here, or I'll do this mudra here.
Okay.
So those are the three type of mudras I do when I meditate. Or when I'm sitting up in my posture, I do this mudra.
Okay.
So when I got into meditation, like I said, after high school is when I started my spiritual journey, and when I started to feel, my body, this is not the right route I'm supposed to be taking, because coming out of high school, I was brought into church a lot as well. So I was part of the religion side before I got to my spiritual journey, which I'm grateful I got out of religion, because it was just I felt like I said, it divides families, it divides communities. Um, so when I got deeper into spirituality, I started meditating more. So I either go outside, sit in the sun, just close your eyes, because you have to be in the darkness, because we were in the woman's womb for 9 months in the dark. And once we got out of the womb, if you were born in the hospital, you were brought into these big bright lights that messes with your eyes, and that's not natural. That's not a natural birth. So when you meditate, you're supposed to close your eyes or go into a dark spot. Which, like, if you have like a shed or something and you got it cleaned out, you go in there, you can meditate. You can open, you have your eyes open, and as long as it's dark somewhere, or keep your eyes closed. That's very important as well. So when you meditate, you think positive always. Always have positive thoughts flowing through your mind. Think about what do you want to accomplish. Think about what do you want to, do that day, or do the upcoming month. Just think about and imagine what do you want to, fulfill. How do you want to be successful? It's all about your thought process and how you think, and make sure it's always positive. Sometimes I get intrusive thoughts coming in my mind, but you got to learn how to immediately throw away those intrusive thoughts. because if you're the type of person that thinks a lot, then you know me personally, I used to have bad intrusive thoughts. I always thought negative, and meditation helped me find peace in my thoughts. So now I keep my thought process as positive as I can, and that's very key when you're meditating.
Yeah, so you'd say it's almost like when you're trying to meditate, it's almost like you re-enter the womb, go back to
Yes.
that starting place.
Exactly. Because man, this when we were birthed in the hospital, those lights affected us tremendously because those are not even natural lights. It's lights that was created. Women are supposed to have natural home births. And this is something I want to get into as well.
Go for it.
When you give birth in the hospital, you are issued a certificate, a birth certificate, which is something that they can trade off of, and they operate off. That's in the field of commerce. That's what I learned studying law as well. So you issued a birth certificate and they issue you a social security number. So that's why when a lot of women who don't have home births, they run into things like CPS try to come take your kids because they trying to force you to have a birth certificate, which is contracting with the state and contracting with the government so they could trade off of your living. So they're basically creating a fake entity off of your name and off of your birth, and they keep the placenta, which is something that the woman is supposed to bring home and do whatever she wants with it. I heard some women they boil it down or they bury it. Some women they put it in the baby food so the baby could drink it. So when you're giving birth in a hospital, they do all these things to you, which is very bad, and I don't really like is when I talk about this because man, it's gonna make me. Oh my Lord, because that's just a whole nother story, man. It just gets deep in the field of law because law applies to everything because God gave us land, air, and water to use in a natural state and to fulfill our pursuit of happiness, liberty, and freedom. And when you give in birth in the hospital, you're not free because they issue you a birth certificate.
Mm-hmm. I have heard of that before.
I mean, like laptop charger.
All right.
All right, back in business.
All right. So we was what I was asking is could you go over the mudras, what they are, and the ones that you use, what do they mean, and what do they do, what do they represent?
All right, so my three main mudras that I use, the three main mudras that I like to use personally is the breath mudra. This helps with your breathing. This one right here, let me see if I can. You stick your thumbs in right there. This is more of a more master mudra, I guess you want to say. There, you could do it this way. This helps with your breathing, or you could do it this way. Have your thumbs out. Either way, for me personally, I feel a difference whenever I take a deep breath without doing a mudra. It's kind of hard for me to breathe, but when I do the mudra, because our fingers, our whole body is electrical. So that's why I say when you consume a lot of fruits and vegetables, you're actually healing your body of the electricity in our body because all the electric foods that you're eating. So once you definitely get into spirituality, you definitely would feel this is the breath mudra. This is the mudra for intuition. And this one's for I guess is concentration.
Okay.
And this is the one I do whenever I'm sitting up my meditation posture. This is the mudra to activate your chakras. And this one I just learned, so I'm still studying this one. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah. You mentioned the how the body is electrical. Could you talk some more about that?
Yeah, so studying since I've been studying the body, man, just coming into law, period, it just brought me into different things. And I always was the type of person that would be into different things. I forgot what they call it. I forgot the name. It's just the type of person that's very active, that likes to do different things, and that just likes to, be very active.
Extrovert.
Extrovert. And there was another name that somebody had called it. It's man, I wish I could remember it. We probably gonna have to talk about that another time. It's the type of person, like, if you just into a lot of things, your mind is just always moving and racing. So what was the question you asked? My bad, I already lost track.
Yeah, it was about the the body being electromagnetic.
Okay, yeah. So our body is very electrical, and you wouldn't, a lot of people wouldn't comprehend that because they like we was talking about earlier, they eat a lot of bad food. So when you put your fingers and your fingers and your feet together and you stand outside, you go into nature, you put your feet in grass, your body would love that and would like that because it's natural. So when you put your fingers together, it's activating all the electricity that we have in our bodies. That's why the mudras are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start consuming a lot of more fruits and vegetables, you're consuming a lot of H3O instead of H2O, which comes from plastic bottles, and plastic is very bad for us as well. So when you're consuming the H3O, is better than H2O because H3O comes strictly from fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So being electrical beings, we come from one source of energy from the creator, and the creator created us exactly how in his image. So once you start connecting with nature and you start comprehending a lot of things that's going on, your body will become more natural to what's uh I'm trying to think of big words. It's just not coming in my head.
Yeah. So it's like the body, well, pretty much everything in the universe is made out of light. And there's a
Yeah.
certain way that we can optimize our body through diet to make us more receptive to light, make us more reactive,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and able to use it, manipulate it,
Yep.
um, things of that nature, because our body's made of light also.
Yep. And since you
Um,
said the universe, that's what it just popped in my head. We are made out of electrons, protons, and neutrons.
yep.
666. A lot of people think is a devilish number. No, it's not, because I
Yeah.
look at numbers as is one of the first creations that we had. So when you
Mm-hmm.
mess with these numbers and you mess with 369, you mess with 111, all these numbers, that also helps with the body as well, because the mind was created from the creator to see these things and use these things in our advantage to manifest what we want in life.
Yeah.
So the body is made of 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons, and
Yeah.
that's all dealing with electricity.
Yeah. And that's carbon, I believe.
Yes, yep, exactly.
Something I heard, I was talking to somebody the same day I met you. He'll eventually be on my show too.
All right.
And he was saying that it's believed by a lot of Hebrews that the original number that was the mark of the beast wasn't 3 sixes, it was 616. And
What?
that it was later changed to 666.
Yeah,
But that's something I recently heard. I haven't gotten a chance to look into it yet, but
yeah, that's something definitely. Whenever you have that interview with that guy, I would definitely watch that one because I
yeah,
want to hear about that.
yeah. Um, because like I've heard a lot of people say that about
Mhm.
carbon relating to melanin. It was another one of those
Yep,
things
I was gonna
that
bring that up too as well.
um
Yeah,
because melanin's actually more expensive, more valuable than gold is, and it's used in
exactly.
computer chips. It's used in a
Hmm.
lot of our technology today. People don't
Hmm.
know that, but they're so. I hate to get kind of dark, but one of the reasons that Black women are the most kidnapped and gone missing people on the planet is because they
Hmm.
use them for technology.
Exactly. They kidnap these women and these young girls to use their melanin, and women, especially melanated women, can create any tone. I don't like to say color because we're not color. Any tone of person. It could be a
Hmm.
white. I'm just gonna say it could be white, black. I don't like to use these words, but it's just
And
for
all the spectrum in
terminology.
between.
Exactly. Can create women, melanated women can create any type of person.
Yeah. So it's they actually harvest Black women like you would a crop.
Yeah, which is
That's
very wicked.
why out of everybody on the planet, everybody on the planet, especially in the United States, Black
Hmm.
women come up missing the most. It's because they're being harvested. It's very
Yeah,
intentional.
yeah, that's very
Similar with like the whole abortion argument. Our government's never gone to officially outlaw it because it's also a factory.
hmm exactly. And
Because a lot of the, I believe it's the stem cells. Hopefully, I didn't say
mhm.
that wrong, but there's certain enzymes and parts of DNA that exist in babies that don't exist in full-grown humans that are harvested.
And I was speaking about that earlier, the placenta, bro. The placenta, it plays a big part in your birth. And there's another type of organ as well that they use, and they actually use these parts of our body. That's how they put us into their system, their commercial system. So the placenta is a very powerful part of our body, which is why women should opt in for home births, because keeping the placenta, the doctors keeping the placenta, you don't know what they're doing with that. And I mean, some people know what they're doing. They're using it to, like you said, create electronics, technology and stuff like
or
that.
medicine for rich people.
Exactly.
Because the nutrients are still there.
Man,
Just because you don't know what it worked for, because they don't actually educate us in school. So most people don't know that the placenta is that important. So they're like, you want to keep this? They'll just ask, you want to keep this? No, why would I want to keep that? And
they drug our
women.
And they drug they drug the women so they could, they want to be fully functional to, answer these questions or sign the documents that they're making us slaves of, because really we are still slaves in the commercial system. Like with the birth certificate, like I was saying, is very wicked how they operate the system, man. And I definitely feel a big shift happening right now. A lot of people are starting to comprehend what's going on and starting to see the truth. And the truth shall set you free. That's why I always tell people, speak the truth always and seek the truth, because like they said in the Bible, our people shall lack for people shall perish for a lack of knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, which is your crown chakra, and open up your third eye, which is your third eye chakra, bro, you're going to perish, because everything is spiritual and everything is meant to you're supposed to connect with your spirit guides instead of having religion, which is separating people.
Yeah. It's like you've been talking about law this whole time. The natural world is governed by laws. It's governed by mathematics. It's governed by equations. It's governed by fractal patterns, sacred geometry, biogeometry, just on a natural level. But then there's other laws, the law of vibration. And I believe people need to understand law of vibration before they understand law of attraction.
See,
but those are laws that keep everything in order in the natural world. I consider it even a downgrade to only know the natural laws. It's an upgrade if you don't know any laws, but if you only know natural laws and you don't know higher laws, because the highest law always wins. Law wins.
Exactly. And something a new law that I actually heard of is something called ecclesiastical law, which deals with the Bible and all that. So studying, everything is a trust. If people get into trust law and you know how to operate trust law, the social security number is a trust. It's just a certain way you have to operate it and learn how to deal with it in this commercial system. So everything plays a big part in trust, because I don't like to keep referring back to the Bible, but the Bible is a trust, and it's just something that a lot of people know about. Is a trust that they don't know, that's been written, and that if you use quotes from the Bible in court and stuff like that, you actually win some court cases, because there actually is court law on that where people use scriptures from the Bible.
Yeah. Like highest law wins. I remember hearing somebody, I wish I remembered who it was so I could quote him. I don't like stealing quotes. But he was talking about gravity, we know, is a law. If you understand faith, which is a higher law than gravity, you can detach yourself from even gravity. The highest law that you function out of is the highest reality that you'll function out of. That's something that I wish more people knew, more people practice, is that it's not that the lower things aren't laws. They are in place. It's just that the higher law has the loudest voice, has the highest influence.
Exactly. And that's why when I got into law, man, I just kept going down this rabbit hole and seeing different things, and my mind is racing. Like, okay, I'm studying this. Dang, okay, this popped up. I want to study this. Okay, dang, this popped up. This, and like all these different types of laws just kept coming in. All these different types of documents I would get into. It's just, just kept coming and coming. I'm like, oh my goodness. I started getting overwhelmed. Sometimes I try to take breaks, but the breaks don't even work. I'll start reading, or I start seeing a video or something. I just get right back into it.
Yeah. Because going back to our conversation from earlier about life, because I could talk about that for days.
Yes,
You mentioned earlier about how in the Bible, you have people that lived, let's say, hundreds of years.
yes,
I look
thousands.
back in, I look into like ancient Sumerian texts, and I find kings who ruled for several thousands of years, where they were ruling for 28,000 years, 15,000 years. That's just how long they were ruling. You know, right now our presidents have 4-year terms at a time because they could die any minute. You don't want to. We need the next guy standing in line, and they all at the end of what's considered our life expectancy. People don't notice, but the current life expectancy for humans is 200 years.
Oh wow!
If you don't know that you can live to 200, you'll die at 20.
Yeah, see, there's a guy that's actually living right now, 108 years old. I was seeing a couple of videos of him, and all he eats is natural fruits, organic fruits, and that's all he eats. That's why he's living so long, because he consumed everything that's meant for us to consume that from Mother Earth.
Yeah, he's a baby. If 100's a baby.
Exactly. And I actually learned something too. So in law, there's something called the age of majority and the age of minority. And once you become at the age of majority, that's when you're able to function in your highest self, and able to do things for yourself instead of going to the government and using their benefits and their statues and privileges. So what I was about to say, I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. Dang it, man. I don't like when I do that. Like I wanted to get like deeper into it, but then I just lost my thought. It's gonna come to me.
Yeah. I could edit it out. I already got to edit.
Bring up something, because I lost my train. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back.
All right. So let's see. Yeah, just continuing about life. You mentioned guy 108 years old. There's people on the planet documented who've been on the planet. There was one guy, actually, I have him on my board behind me. It was this fat guy that you might have seen. It's kind of hard to see him, but there was this fat yogi from a few decades back is when he died. I think he died in like either the late 1800s or early 1900s, but his name was Trey Longa.
Was he from the Americas, or what country?
He was in India. He was, and the reason I bring him up is that he was 300 pounds, even though he didn't eat.
What?
And he was 300 years old at the time of his death. And if you look him up, his actual birth date and death date are there. And he's about 200, not 200, 300 years old.
Man, that's beautiful, man. Just to hear people living that long, because everybody got such a short life expectancy nowadays, man. Just hearing people just living that long, and hearing that we actually did live that long back then, man. It's just, we lost all that knowledge once they came and took over.
Yeah, and then there's the Maharishi of Mount Kailash. He's I think he's actually a Christian, but he's, I want to say 400 now. He's in his 400s, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh Lord, yes, Lord.
He's still around. Several people have met him. So there's people around. It's just that once you reach over a certain age, I think it's interesting that a lot of like even life insurance ends at 99.
You serious?
It's like, man, once even if it's considered whole life, it's not whole life.
It's not whole life.
Up until I believe 99 or 98. Yep.
See, the whole system.
So it's up until it's like up until we think you'll be around. Wow. So we have people paying for whole life, but if you live past it, they'll cut it off and you can't access.
And I actually just got my thought back now. So this is what I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
I consider us gods and goddesses, because And I was actually having a talk with a friend of mine. Me and her met each other through studying law, and we was talking about this. And she was saying how can people start considering themselves? Which I mean, I feel like we still should consider ourselves that. Just have that in your mind and know who you are. But how can you consider yourself gods and goddesses, but you still operating out of the system that they created? Because a god did what a god wanted to do, and a god took care of himself instead of using other people. So why are we still going to people and going to the government to use their stuff if you're gods and goddesses? Which some people don't comprehend that because they're still using the system.
Mm-hmm. I like that. There's a guy. Hope eventually I'm gonna get him on my show. But his name's Reginald. He's over the Comedic Centered Living YouTube channel. He teaches on what's modernly known as Egyptian spirituality. And he did a teaching on that one time, and I love the way he said it, because a lot of people call you arrogant, they call you prideful, and a bunch of other words when you start to call yourself a god.
Yeah,
as if in some way you're blaspheming God. And the way that he broke it down, it's like the difference between a cup of water and the ocean is that it's still water. It's the same thing, is just of a lesser quantity or of a lesser quality, but it's still water.
I like it. Yeah, I like
so that. Us being God doesn't take anything away from the big creator. It doesn't take anything away from the Most High for us to be God. Exactly. He's no smaller. He's no smaller. He's no bigger. He's as infinite as he'll ever be, with or without me or you realizing our God consciousness.
Exactly. He made us in his image. So why wouldn't you call yourself God or goddess?
Now you speaking my language. Speaking of the Bible, they even said this stuff throughout the Bible. There's a certain part where it says, "Don't you know that you're gods?"
Oh, I heard that.
They left that in the Bible. And then just going back to Genesis 1, then God said, "Let us make man in our image." I consider it a mistranslation. It's "let us make man as our image." The word image, the word image everywhere else in the Bible means idol. It's no different there.
Like the entirety of it, have you read the whole thing?
Yeah, that and all types of other. I'm gonna show you a bunch of stuff once we off camera.
Okay, so
show you a bunch of books.
Definitely want to see.
But the word idol, like the word image, means idol everywhere else. It means idol in Genesis 1 too, because when God created man as God of the natural world.
Exactly.
God created God. If we were created as the image, in the image, what he is, we are. Whether we know it or not is the journey.
And that's what you have to find within yourself. Because man, once you open your mind and you actually take care of your body, you will start feeling like that. Like you will actually start feeling like, oh yeah, man, I feel so good, man. I'm a god, I'm tough. I could do this. Because once you figure out like this something I was saying as well, man. When people think about death, I don't believe in that, because there's natural deaths, like if you like when our guys lived to like thousands of years, but now they created all these things that can kill you, like the bad foods, these weapons, all this stuff. It's just we're surrounded by stuff that dumbs your energy and drains your energy, and that could really be harmful to you.
Yeah. Let's see. So, what's some more thing? What are some other areas that you've looked into?
Let's see.
Some areas that you have started to incorporate in your lifestyle.
Okay. So I don't think I told you when I met you. I make music as well. So, man, of course. Music, bro.
I run into musicians all the time. The last guy I was recording with was a musician. The last episode that came out was a musician.
Oh man. That's a good thing, man. I don't know what type of music they're making, but music plays a big part in a lot of people's lives, because people go to these big celebrities just to listen to their music that could probably, change their mentality and change the way they living. But I'm starting to see that we don't have a lot of positive music out right now, and that's something that I like to make. And it's just so because music messes with the frequency of your body, like it goes with electricity. So what I was saying was, music plays a lot of a big part in people's lives because of the frequency. And this is something I learned from what's his name, XXX He was saying this, that the type of frequency that they put into the music that's mainstream, it messes with the frequency of people, and it controls people's minds, and that's how a lot of people get influenced by the negativity inside of the music. So that's why I try to make more music more. Yes, that's why I try to make more music more positive. And there are certain frequencies you can play with in the music, like 432, 528, I believe it is. And there's other more frequencies that you could play with. And I actually sometimes I fall asleep listening to different type of frequencies, because once you sleeping in that state of sleep, your mind is you're in a different realm, I guess you want to say. So once you listen to these frequencies while you're sleeping, it's kind of playing a part in your mind, and how you feel and how you're gonna wake up the next day and how you sleep. Oh my
That's
goodness,
cool.
I can't believe my nose started bleeding, man. Wow.
All as well. So let's see. We getting pretty close to the end of our time. Let's see. You got any closing thoughts? Anything else you'd like to share? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh man, my nose and then threw me all off. But I just want to say, man, if anybody who's listening to the interview right now, I pray you have a great day. I pray your life is great. And I just want to, try to push more people to, living a healthier lifestyle, because it's all about health. The health is wealth. So if you eating all these bad things, that's something I'm really big on is food, man. It's you eating all these bad things, you're harming your body. So I just want people to start consuming more, high vibrational foods, so your body, so you can vibrate a high level. And a lot of foods that people eat, like candy, processed foods, it messes with your vibration and your chakras. It throw you all off. And I actually was just listening to a couple of videos of a lady. She was talking about people. I mean, her son was eating a lot of food that consisted with dyes in, like red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, all that. And that's when I used to eat a lot of candy and stuff. That's when I was going through my stage, depression, anxiety, and suicide thoughts. And now that I got off of all those foods, I definitely feel a big difference in the way I think and the way I operate in my daily life, because those dyes is artificial, and it's processed to mess with your frequency and your mind. And that's what I want a lot of people to comprehend. And if even if you're not studying, because we lost a lot of knowledge in school, try to get into law, because law is very important and it play a big part in life. Like universal law, start with natural law, start with the laws of attraction. And what was the other law you brought up earlier?
Law of vibration.
Law of vibrations. That's something I'm gonna start getting to as well. I'm glad you said that. That's actually sparked something in my body, man. I like that. Because I actually haven't heard of law of vibration. You're the first person that I heard that from.
Yeah. It's pretty much the parent of the law of attraction. It's just that it's not as flashy. They start you off with how to get whatever you want instead of how to pretty much rule the world.
Rule the world, exactly.
Law of vibration is the law of how the universe functions. Everything is frequency and vibration, and when you deal with it on that level, it's kind of like being able to work with the wiring behind a machine. Being able to access the breaker panel behind the house that is the universe is when you start dealing with it on a vibrational level.
Yes.
That's why your thoughts affect your physical body so much. Is that something I found out that I've been sharing, because it's something I've been teaching, but I didn't know this scientific part to it, is that when you think, light comes out of your head. Light comes out of your heart. When they agree, even more light comes out of you. But like we were talking about earlier, the natural world, the universe is all made out of light. So when you're thinking, your physical body made out of light, natural world made out of light. When you're thinking, when you're feeling, you're releasing light, and you're having a conversation with the world around you, and you're telling it how to respond to you. you're actually shaping the world around you that you're experiencing.
Yep, you create your own reality. So that's why I say always think
There you
positive,
go.
because yes, Lord, oh Lord. So once you think these positive thoughts and you think once you just have to think positive. That's just a big thing, because you create your own reality. What you think, what you see, what you hear, what you eat, what you smell is a part of your reality.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we was talking about earlier with the question of about, well, if you're a God, why is it that you're still relying on someone else's system when gods are supposed to create their own system?
Oh, exactly.
It's because you only walk in as much as you understand.
Yes, Lord.
The amount of God that you believe you are is as much God as you'll experience.
Yes, Lord.
We
Everything is
don't
all about
believe we don't really understand what omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, eternal, and infinite actually looks like.
yep.
We
And we
think too small. As great as I believe I am, I still think I think too small. Because when I talk to God, He tells me I'm thinking too small.
mm,
And I think I'm
got
an
the
outside of the
big.
box thinker.
Very, bro. That like thinking out the box is something that a lot of people should start doing as well, because if you stand in the box, you stand boxed in. So if you
Yeah.
think outside the box, thinking, oh, I could do this, I could do that, it's gonna open your mind up to you actually, start acting instead of thinking.
Yeah. Creativity. That's the
Exactly.
frequency of the creator, which is the number one thing that school systems kill. Is the
Exactly.
creativity in every individual, thus killing the God in everybody. They never have to deal with gods walking the planet because we kill your creativity before you hit puberty.
That's what Rockefeller said, man. They actually funded the school system in 19 I think it's 1903 or 1913 is when the
Yep.
Rockefellers funded the school system, man. The Rockefeller said, I want a nation full of thinkers instead of no, I want a nation full of workers instead of a nation full of thinkers, because they know these people who control the system actually know who we are. And it's like,
Yeah.
how do we not know who we are? That because it's this lost knowledge. People don't go back and think. People don't take time out to themselves. They always in front of technology. They don't go outside. They don't spend time alone. Because when you
Yeah.
spend time alone, that's when you actually find out who you are.
Yeah. Even something simple that I found out. If you've noticed, since we were young, because me and you are about the same age, we were younger. None of us needed glasses. It was kind of rare. Now it seemed like almost everybody need glasses. Everybody need contacts.
Wow. Now that you brought that up.
I found out that it was a simple reason why. These
What?
things,
Oh.
most of us are nearsighted because this is as far as we need to see on a regular basis.
Yep.
As simple as going back to looking far away like we used to do, playing games like I Spy, is enough to fix the vision. We don't look anymore. We don't actually use our eyes that far. That's why you read stories of people who were able to see for miles, and it's not even that far away history.
Wow, I haven't heard that in a
It's just that
while.
they were using their eyes a lot more. The
Yeah.
eyes supposed to be the strongest muscle in the body, and we underuse it. Most of us, our eyes are underused. We only, our world fits here. This
And
is as far as I need to see. That's why most of our vision stops is about as far as we hold our phone.
Wow, bro,
That's something simple and something recent that I found out about vision.
And technology actually it emits radiation. It the blue light from your phone. That's what messes with your eyes as well. And like you said, it's you only use your phone is like a certain amount of distance from your face. Like you, it's like this close to your face, and you're not actually going outside to look at nature to actually embrace what's outside. Instead, a lot of people are inside on their phones, got the phone up to their face. It emits this frequency, this radiation. So that's what really mess with a lot of people's eyes. And some now that you brought that up, because this what I thought about a while ago. If you're on technology a lot, and the what they said, the eyes is the portal to
Window
your
to the
soul. How they say
soul.
window to the soul. We always have the camera in our eyes, so this might be a little weird. A lot of people might not comprehend this, but if you got this phone or this camera all the way in your eyes, and it's I think it might be a little too deep. What if they could start, start telling what you're looking at every day? They could see what they hearing what you're saying, and they could start comprehending your thought patterns because you got this camera in your face all day.
Absolutely. I actually think they've admitted to doing that already.
Bro, yes, yeah. They actually have some CIA documents that came out, and you know how in your phone they have this. If you, I don't know if it happens every now and again, but they have like a red line in the camera that comes out. Like it's like, you know how in the movies, like they'll scan your eyes, like when you go to like a little like people go in an underground portal or underground tunnel, and they have to scan their eyes to open up the door. Something like that. I see that a little bit often in my phone. It's like they trying to scan your eyes. Yeah, they caught me off guard one day. I seen it. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, not just that. The fact that we pretty much carry around a tracking device, a monitoring device.
Yep.
They're listening to everything that we say.
Yep.
They go with us everywhere we go.
Yep. Exactly.
They start to learn the way that we think. Not just that. Advertisements intentionally target us so that we think in a certain way. So outside of just the advertisements, what you choose to do with something that you're spending most of your time, like I said, most of our day takes place here. So whatever you're looking at the most is what's going to be downloaded directly into you. You brought it up. Eyes are the windows to the soul. It's a direct download. So I won't even just say that phones are bad. The common culture surrounding phones is horrible, thus leading to a bunch of issues that we see that are now common. Vision issues, mental illnesses. It seems like mental illnesses are now the common thing. It's no longer a branch off like it used to be where, oh, that person's mentally ill, everyone else is a bit normal. Now it's almost abnormal to be normal. Or rather, it's abnormal to not have a mental illness of some sort.
Exactly, because you find it in a lot of people who you come across. Like, that's why I'm glad that along my spiritual journey, I've stopped eating certain things. Like I keep saying, because it really played a big part in my life. Certain foods I ate, I felt like it dumbing me down and making me lose track of who I am, making me, sad, upset for no reason. Like, I'll like start. Sometimes I used to like just cry for no reason, like and I'll never know why. So now I figured out why. It's the food I was eating and the stuff that I was always watching, the music I was listening to. I don't even listen to music like that much like I used to, because when I found out about the frequencies in music, it'll mess with your vibration.
Yeah. So we running out of time. Otherwise, I tackle so many other topics because I thought of some.
Man, we going.
But some of them are obvious, like drug usage. Even the things that people call not drugs mess with the mind. It's called mind altering for a reason.
Exactly, and it's a temporary feeling.
They call alcohol spirits for a reason, and I'm gonna leave that there. That's a topic for another day.
Yes, Lord. Yeah, that's definitely a big topic right there. Drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
The name itself is a whole different topic.
That's true.
Yes.
So, well, that's pretty much it. Where are some places that people can find you and connect with you? Find your music, find your work.
All right. So I'm on all platforms as MackLove. And my social platforms, I only have YouTube and TikTok. So my TikTok platform is real MackLove _, and you can find me on YouTube as MackLove. That's my music page, and my other page where I share my knowledge and my law knowledge as well is called Real MackLove.
Awesome. Well, this has been great having you on. Pretty much the listeners just got to listen to me and you have a conversation. I barely considered an interview.
and I feel like that's what a lot of people need to hear, because because like I was saying earlier, once you come across the path of somebody with the same mindset, the same journey as you, who thinks just like you, a lot of people would like to listen to people talk about that stuff because it's a genuine conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Use this as encouragement to go out and talk to people. Go outside. You find people.
Yes, exactly. And like I'm telling you, once you raise your vibration, man, you start attracting people who think just like you. You just start attracting them. Like it's nice, man. I'm grateful I joined this. I'm grateful, man. You crossed paths and we were able to have this conversation, and I know we're gonna have plenty more, man. And
Absolutely.
I love this conversation. I love talking about stuff like this.
Well, that'll be it for this episode of The Inner. Y'all be blessed.